Here we have the bid details page. You can see a blank chart that shows the parts and required quantities that we indicated on the purchase order details screen. Remember, if you want to add more parts, simply click Return to PO in the upper right-hand corner and specify any additional parts at the bottom of the screen. Now that we have our bid table set up, it's time to add bidders. Clicking the Add Bidder button brings up a new screen. Here we can add some key information about our bidder, beginning with our bidder name and size classification. As you type in the supplier name, note that it appears at the top of the screen. This will remain visible throughout the bid detail screens and becomes important when you have multiple bidders. Next, we're asked whether the bidder responded with a bid or a written no bid. Including written no bids is an important step that is often overlooked in competition documentation. If no response at all was received, then the bidder should not be included in these screens. You're then required to upload a copy of the bidder's response, whether it's their quote or their written no bid response. Last, you can indicate whether this bid was included in the competition or not. Choosing yes requires no additional information. However, if you indicate that this bid was removed for technical reasons or was outside of the competitive range, additional explanations are required. In this example, I'll click yes. When you're done with this screen, click Next. Now, we're being asked to input the actual bid. At the top of the screen, you can see that we're looking at Acme's bid screen, and specifically this part number. The quantity shown here in the header is the quantity that was included in the RFP. The first box has already been filled in for us. SpinLogic assumes that in most cases, the bidder will respond with a quantity that matches the RFP or RFQ. However, if your bidder chooses to include a different quantity, for example if they have capacity constraints, you can input a different bid quantity here. Doing so requires additional information. For now, I'll leave it with the same quantity as the RFQ. Next, we're required to input bid amounts for recurring and non-recurring costs. Input the exact prices that are provided by the bidder. In this case, I only had recurring costs. The bid adjustment boxes would be used if your competition resulted in bids that were not directly comparable. For example, if your RFQ requested pricing for widgets and one bidder included pricing for widgets plus carrying cases while the others did not, you would use the bid adjustment to remove the cost of carrying cases since you do not intend to purchase them. Positive values in this area will add scope and adjust the bid upward, while negative values will remove scope and adjust the bid downward. If a value is added to this box, you'll be required to provide an explanation. When you're done, click Next. If you have multiple parts, such as we do in this case, you'll be taken to the next part in the competition. Again, at the top, you see which bidder you're working on, and just below you'll see the part quantity, number, and definition. Complete this screen just as you did for the first part, then click Next or Done. Now we see that our chart has one bidder included. To add additional bidders, click Add Bidder. I've gone ahead and done this already, and here are the results. At this point, we have in front of us the completed bid table. The green cells indicate which bidder is recommended for award. In this case, you see that Zedco has the lowest overall bid and therefore has been awarded all the parts. Next, I'll show you how to change the award recipient as well as how to award individual lines separately. First, we'll look at overriding the award. Remember that we chose Single Award on the competition details page. As a result, we see that Supplier 2 has been awarded all of the items. If for some reason you need to override this and award to the other bidder, you can do this by clicking Override Award here. Here we have the Override Award screen, which requires that you identify the bidder and select the appropriate rationale. I can choose Acme and indicate that the winning bidder did not have adequate capacity. When you're done, click Done. Now you see the award has been moved to the other bidder. You'll also notice that the competition is shown as modified. Clicking this allows you to change the awardee, the rationale, or remove all modifications. Once I remove modifications and click Done, you can see that it reverts back to the original award state. Now, let's look at a scenario where a decision has been made to award to multiple bidders. To do this, go to the Competition Details link in the left-hand navigation. Here, you can modify the bottom selection so that multiple awards may be made. Clicking Next, you now see that the award recommendation has changed. Each bidder has been awarded a portion of the total based on low price, and the parts and quantities awarded are shown in green. Notice that we now have an override award option for each line item. The functionality here is slightly different than it was for single award. You can see that now we're given an option for specifying how many units were awarded. We can choose to award a portion to the first bidder and a portion to the second, or all can be awarded to one bidder. Just like with a single award, the line will show modified if a change is made. Furthermore, clicking Modified leads you back to the override screen. You can make changes here, or modifications can be removed by clicking the Remove All button at the bottom. The last input on this screen is for any specific details that would be useful to someone reviewing this package. You should include those here in the competition summary. When you're done with this screen, click Next.